In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this pretty freshwater pearl bird's nest. The materials you need are 5 meters of 26 gauge wire, either sterling silver or silver plated, and 3 oval pearl eggs. These are around 5 millimeters long. You'll also need a pencil or pen with ridges. This is to add texture to the wire as you wrap it round. Take a 5 meter piece of silver wire, sterling or silver plated wire, and start to wrap the whole piece of wire around your ridged pencil or pen. This gives it a little bit of texture, which allows the wire both to look more nest-like, but also to help it slot together when you're wrapping the nest a bit later. Make sure you don't get any twists or nicks in the wire, because that might cause you a problem later. If that happens, just use your pliers to flatten it out, and watch out for beads flying around too. When you come to the end, leave about 2 inches spare, because we're going to be needing that later. Take it off the pencil or pen, and then you're ready to add your eggs. So take your 3 eggs and add them onto the wire, about 2 inches from the end. Once you've done that, you need to bend them into a triangle. It can be a bit tricky to get them into an even triangle, but the more even it is, the better. Give it a twist, once or twice is fine. Any more than that and it will start to stick out. And then fold your wire back, and you're going to make a tiny little loop in the middle of the 3 eggs. And you're going to keep going round in concentric circles, covering the back of the nest as best you can. Obviously it won't be perfect, and there are going to be gaps, but overall it will give your nest a nice back. So once you've been round a few times, you'll be coming to the edge of your 3 pearls, covering the whole of the back. So at this point you want to start to move onto the other side of your little stalk, so that the wire starts to go around the edge of the nest rather than the back. So at this point, and for the rest of the time, you'll have to hold the nest really firmly, or your eggs rather, really firmly between thumb and forefinger, and just find the best way to wrap your wire all the way around. And you just need to keep going until you've got about 9 or 10 inches left. Every time finding a suitable place to slot the wire into so that it feels quite firm and secure. You want to not let go of it at this point as well. Your fingers are sort of holding it in place, but it's also beginning to hold itself in place as well. And you can see it beginning to form a little nest. So now I'm getting to the end of my piece of wire. So I'm going to straighten it out. I've got about 9 inches left. It doesn't have to be exactly 9 inches, and if your nest has been looking good with more left and you feel like you don't need any more, then you can stop earlier. But after you've straightened it, you want to poke it through, find a place at the back of the nest to poke it through. That will come through on the front between 2 of the eggs, just like that. If you just watch, it does matter where it comes through. What you want is to secure the wire that's holding the 3 eggs together with the rest of the nest. I've twisted that bit of wire around to make sure it doesn't form a nick, which if it does, it can be difficult to pull it through. So keeping the wire as straight as possible. And now I'm going to pull it through and go around again a couple of times. And now I'm going to find my next little gap between the eggs and push the wire through the back again. It's sometimes difficult to find a good place, but just persevere and I'm sure you'll find somewhere. There it is again. To make sure that it's secure, it's a good idea to do this 3 times, but sometimes it just feels like either it's too difficult to get one of the wires through or it intuitively goes into the right place anyway. So in this one, I'm not going to do my 3rd one. I'm just going to wrap it around, and once you've done either 2 or 3, you need to have the wires at the top pointing together and then just give them a twist to secure and then keep twisting. So you're creating a kind of helix like baker's twine or DNA, so twisting both of the wires together simultaneously. That also avoids you having one wire go around the other one. It won't be perfect, or it might be perfect, but if it isn't perfect, it doesn't matter. You can tighten it up a little bit at the end. Go all the way to the end so that you've got a nice long piece of twisted wire to work with. This is going to be what we're going to make the bail out of. So the bail is the bit that hangs over the chain. The easiest way to do this, of course, is with your round nose pliers. So put the wire in between and fold it back over, and then around underneath the pliers and between the nest, and wrap it around a couple of times to make sure it's nice and secure and solid, and have it pointing towards the back, because any loose untidy ends will be tucked in at the back and won't be visible, if you can. They will be tucked in anyway, so if it ends up pointing towards the front, that's okay too. But you do need to snip off the excess and then tuck in any loose bits of wire, and use your pliers and your fingers just to straighten it out and make sure that it's all kind of pointing in the right direction and that you haven't got any too loose bits of wire. I'm just making mine a bit more round. And then it's ready to hang on a chain and wear. Voila!